Joining me today is Benoit La Salle from AYA Gold and Silver. In this interview, we discuss the silver market, where Benoit thinks it could be heading, and he gives us a price target. And Benoit is somebody that you probably should listen to because he has built multiple mines, which makes him very interesting in the junior mining world, where we see so many people who fail to do what he's been successful at. Benoit, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, silver in Morocco, lots to talk about there. We notice on our website when we're publishing content about silver, it's really picked up over the last few months. A lot of the silver producers that do exist, and I know a lot of them are in Mexico, which we were talking about pre-interview, they had sort of these all-in sustaining costs per ounce of around, say, $20 to $24. And when silver was trading around $20, they weren't so happy. Now it's trading around $30. They're noticing interest picking up. But most of those silver names are in Mexico. You guys are in Morocco. What can you tell me high level, first off, about the silver market? What's your read on it? $1.8 billion silver company. I'm really interested to hear what your read on the silver market.
Well, look, what we give you or tell you is firsthand, we sell every day. So we sell silver in Europe, in Geneva. We produce half of our silver, our ingots. The other half is a concentrate for now. And starting next year, we'll be producing 7 million ounces a year of ingots. So we do trade it. We see the demand. We see that sometimes it can even sell it at a premium. The demand's very, very strong. The reason is we follow it, solar panels. I don't know if you saw China this weekend announced the largest solar farm ever to be built. Like, it's bigger than anything they've built before. Armament. With the wars going on, in the Patriot missiles, you have silver. In all communication, you have silver. So the demand is increasing. India is doubling, tripling its silver demand every quarter right now. So there is a very, very strong demand. The deficiency between supply and demand is about 20%. And the reason it has not yet moved up to that level that we see is because there was inventory. But the inventory is just about done right now. And as soon as that's over, then the 20% deficit, which includes solar panel at the current level. But the new generation of solar panels require twice as much silver as before. They cannot replace that with gold, but it's too expensive. So silver, and that's why there's so much interest. The demand for silver will keep going up, and the production keeps coming down.
We're into what I believe is the fourth straight year of a silver deficit.
Yes, we are. We are.
And you got to think at some point something's going to have to give here. What like price wise, do you think that $50 is out of reach?
But 4 years ago, silver was $14. Yeah. 4 years ago, it came up 40% so far this year. I mean, in the last 12 months. We're seeing now 30, 31. Yeah, I believe we're going to be seeing 50 in the next 24 months. Oh. And at $50, knowing that the production in South America is decreasing every quarter, and the production around the world doesn't exist. I mean, in Africa, Morocco is the only country producing silver of quantity. And so AYA is very uniquely positioned being in Morocco, because in mining, when a commodity price goes up, jurisdiction is always key, but it's more important. Because on countries that have balance sheet issues, financing issues, they always think that the mining companies it's the solution. And they start increasing royalty, taxes, fees everywhere. And we're seeing it in South America right now. The beauty of mining in Morocco, it's 1% of GDP.
What's it? I've seen some Morocco companies that we've chatted with in the past. It sounds like it's kind of a unique environment in the sense that it's still sort of a kingdom, right?
So politically, Morocco is a kingdom. It has been for hundreds of years. It's very stable. The government is elected, so it's free elections, and it's very European. It's a French system. But the difference is from the top all the way down to the civil servants, people are pro-mining. Because Morocco is a mining country it has the largest phosphate deposits in the world. And you know that currently the phosphate company called OCP, they still have 700 years of mine life in phosphate.
That's owned by the government.
Owned by the state, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But it's the number one phosphate producer in the world. So Morocco is a mining country, except they have another company called Managem, and they produce gold, silver, copper, cobalt, and they're well known. It's a state-owned or sovereign wealth fund owned, let's say, company, but they're doing extremely well.
So you guys produced about 2 million ounces of silver in 2023.
That's right.
And you guys have put out guidance for 2.6 to 3.2 million ounces for 2024. What's this thing look like at scale? How much?
So the reason we're just a little bit higher is we're building a third plant. So we currently have 2 plants on site. We're building a third plant. It is 98% done, and it will kick in Q4 of this year. And therefore, that's why we are finishing 2024 around, let's say, round numbers, 3 million ounces. But in 2025, we will be between 7 and 7.5 million ounces of pure silver. The beauty of Morocco is the deposit is not a lead or a zinc or a copper deposit. It is a pure native silver deposit. We produce only silver. So when we give you the grade of the deposit at 250 grams per ton, it is silver. A lot of people tell you, well, we're mining 400, 500, but it's gold, which they convert in silver. But us, it's ounces. That's right. So our cost next year, cash cost next year will be $750 cash cost and $10 AISC. So it's the low quartile of the industry because it's high grade pure silver. So at $30 silver with a $10 AISC, it's a $20 margin times 7 million. It's 140 million a year of operating cash flow.
Now, Benoit, this isn't your first rodeo either in terms of being able to run a producer. You previously ran Semifo. What for our retail investors? They're always trying to find those sort of small names that can eventually get to production. What is it that you're doing differently than all these other companies we talk to that seemingly never get to production? What's your sort of philosophy when you get involved with a project and want to move it forward?
Well, first you need to find world-class deposits. Otherwise, they're too difficult to put into production. So a tier 2, tier 3 deposits, very difficult. And now that the engineering firms and the construction firm, the EPC contractors are really running out of people because through the pandemic, people took early retirements. So there's no team to do the work with you in the engineering firm or in the EPC contractors. So you have to have a very robust project. And if you have that, then you do get the A team and you can get the work done, and then you can get funded. We have a $100 million facility with the EBRD bank in Europe, and they will only fund tier 1 projects. So really at the very beginning, you have to have a world-class deposit. And in Morocco, that's what we have, world-class deposits. And when we built the first company, we were in Burkina Faso on the Houndé Belt that we discovered. And the Mana project is still, we put it into production in 2008. It's still producing today. So that's what 16 years later, or 20, we 2008, 16 years later, and it's still producing 200,000 ounces a year. So you need to have world-class assets. If you do, you'll get the right team, you'll do the right amount of work, and you'll get funding to build. But you need also a construction team, because you can't just outsource construction. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work.
Do you think that there's a problem when you step back and you look at sort of, because I'm sure you're at lots of conferences, you have lots of people coming to you for advice, trying to get you personally to invest in their projects. Do you think that there's a problem in just mining in general where, at least in Canadian junior mining, where we get too concentrated on certain areas? It's like we're talking about silver in Mexico. There's a lot of companies that are doing that specific thing. We could talk about lithium, how there's now all these lithium producers kind of in Brazil is sort of popping up, and it just sort of seems like there's pockets that that all of the junior mining world kind of wants to turn to, whereas like you don't see many companies in Morocco that are publicly traded.
No, we're the only one. We're the only one. The mining industry is made of copycats. So if lithium is hot, everybody goes into lithium, not understanding that spodumene is not the end game, is the second transformation that's the end game, and that is very complex. So people go into spodumene and they think they're going to make a living off spodumene. They don't. So all these projects are dead at the beginning. And you have to go to the second transformation. Very complicated. So you saw this, it's like, I call it like surfing. They surf the lithium wave. Yeah. Makes no sense. Or they will surf the cobalt wave. Yeah. Cobalt too is complex. So it's not for everybody. So if you're trying to follow and jump in the bandwagon with these surfer, you better know when to get out. And it's like, set your targets and get out, because at the end it never ends well. It never ends well. Where if you go with, and that's what Rick says. Rick, I like to invest with people who've made me money, because if you've made Rick money, he knows you can take it to the end game, which is extremely rare. Extremely rare. How many producers do you find, that go from exploration, development, permitting, construction, and production? There are very few. So it's a dangerous industry because there's so many surfers who try to take the wave. Now it's silver. People come to us, oh, I have a silver project. I have a silver project. I have a silver project. Yes, yes. Where, what jurisdiction, what's the grade, what's the capex, what's the metallurgy? They know none of that. In Burkina, I was there for 20 years. Sometimes I would take juniors and I'd say, have you ever met the minister? Do you think you're going to get your permit? First of all, do you speak French? Because it's a French jurisdiction. Yeah. And the answer was no. Then it's sell. Get out of that stock, because they'll never take it to the next level. So it's a dangerous industry, but it's an industry where you can make very good money if you're with the right team. Best example, Robert Friedland. If you went in Mongolia with him, you made very good amount of money. Then you went into South Africa, then you went into the DRC. And now he's into North America. He makes money every time. So you need to follow the people who've done it and have a team of people around. Like us at AYA today, we're more than 1,000 people. Well, we do have metallurgists, mining engineers, geologists, and all of that can all do their part. It's like classical music. They can all do their part, and at the end, we have something that makes sense.
We'll wrap it up with this. If I'm an investor in the company, or I'm interested, and we know that from the data we're seeing, there's a lot of interest in silver. It's just kind of picking up. That $30 level seems like a very important level for silver investors. So I'm watching the company over, say, the remainder of 2024. What am I looking out for in terms of news flow, potential milestones, the key events that could be catalysts for the company?
Yeah, so just if you let me, there's three things people, when they invest, that they have to look at. Three things, and then I'll tell you. Jurisdiction, most important element. Jurisdiction is key, because as we get into a very good market, it's going to get complicated. Grade, because the grade reduces your capex, reduces your opex, makes you profitable. And is management shareholder? Are they invested? Do they have money at risk? If you meet all three, you can then start reading the pitch book. For us, the third plant is just about ready to go into production. So before year end, you'll have commercial production. We'll be ramping up to 2 million ounces almost per quarter, not exactly that, a bit lower. And then but the main value creation in mining is drilling. We drilled last year 100,000 meters. We're drilling this year about 150,000 meters. We have 15, 16 drills starting at all time. And by adding ounces to your resource balance sheet, this is how you create value. There's only one way to create value, is add ounces to your resource balance sheet per share. So stop increasing the number of shares and increase the number of ounces that you have in the ground, and then you'll create value. When we took Aya over 4 years ago, we had 10 million ounces of silver. Now we have 450 million ounces. And we've increased the number of shares a little bit, but not that much. And that 450 is going to keep growing over the years. And this is how you create value for shareholders.
And it's not just a lot of silver I'm seeing, it's tremendous grade too.
Tremendous grade. Jurisdiction, grade, people, and yes, increase the number of ounces per share. If you can increase the number, like we took over, we had like 0.4 ounces per share, and now we're at 3.5 ounces per share. So 3.5 ounces per share on where you have $20 of margin, well, that's like a $70 cushion that you have of value per share that you buy. Of course, you can't value it at the full $20 because it's over time, but that's real value, and this is why we trade where we are.
Yeah, and I could see that over the last 5 years, your stock's up almost 600%. Over the last year, 53%. So it's clear that you are doing good by your shareholders. And Benoit, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I think you guys are doing some outstanding work, and hopefully you'll come back on here when the price of silver continues to run, and you continue to just build up on what's already a pretty gigantic amount of ounces you guys have on the ground, and we see that build out. You'll continue to come on here and update us on the company's developments.
If you keep inviting me, I'll keep coming back. I mean, I enjoy talking about what we're doing and talking about Morocco and silver. I really believe that silver is the commodity you want to be in.
Thanks, Benoit.
Thank you.